Well, hello there. Good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Noella Karanyali. In our top story, tension is mounting in Mpatuem weeks after a violent clash between the youth and soldiers guarding the Asanko mine. Now, despite the bloodshed, illegal miners are back on the concessions, raising fears of another deadly confrontation. Now, ancillary mining companies say they are still reeling from the financial losses of the last clash. Nana Bwachi Yadom visited the area and filed this report.
The clash at Mpatuem in the Amancia West District began after residents accused the Asanko mine security of killing an illegal miner for invading the company's concession. Tension rose when family of the deceased rejected the body and the youth in the community blocked roads in protest. On September 9, 2025, an altercation broke out between the agitated residents and military personnel stationed at the site where the Abuabu Assembly member Samuel Dankwa died and two others severely injured. One of the injured victims remained in the hospital struggling to recover from gunshot wounds. Kofi Nyako is one of the victims still receiving treatment. He narrates how he nearly lost his life in the clash.
The
bus was full of armed men. They beat me up and got me injured into the state, all because I work for Asanko. They threatened to kill me, claiming that we have killed the assemblyman. But despite heavy military presence, some local residents continue to creep into Asanko mine's concession, highlighting fear of renewed clashes. Residents say Galamsey operators have taken advantage of the chaos to invade mining concessions, worsening the already fragile situation.
After weeks of the destruction, with companies still counting their losses, the destruction continues. Far behind me is where illegal miners continue to operate. Just after some few minutes or few meters away from where the construction companies operate.
Meanwhile, mining companies operating in the Esase enclave of Asanko mines, including Robotech Ghana Limited, are counting their losses in the aftermath of the violence. Other companies like AKL Company Limited, Zen Ghana Limited, Bilodge Company Limited, and GTS Ghana Limited have also lost millions as buses and other valuable equipment were destroyed. George Jakba is the human resource manager of AKL.
Based on that, we are not able to operate from the community to take the haulage exercise, and as a result of that, we conveyed some of our people to the other site, and then we are lodging at the hotel at other places, other towns, nearby towns, to do the work with the few machines that are fit to work.
The continuing invasion of illegal miners on lands belonging to Asanko mines has been a cause of worry. For Joy News, Nana Bwachi Yadom.
Away from that, a heated clash played out at Parliament's Public Account Committee yesterday between the IGP Christian Teteyohonu and Chairperson Abena Osei Isare. Now, the IGP insisted the police service will no longer fund news stations in areas where mobs repeatedly attack facilities, arguing communities must build them instead, a position the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee strongly rejected. Kenneth GC reports.
The IGP defended a controversial position that the service will no longer build police stations in areas where existing facilities and personnel had come under attack. Instead, he argued that any community seeking a station should take responsibility for constructing it themselves. This stance, however, drew sharp opposition from the PAC Chair, Abena Osei, who argued that abandoning communities in the wake of mob attacks sends the wrong message and undermines the constitutional duty of the police to protect lives and property.
They came to their local building and somebody said, no, this way it was the MP who built it, so let us not touch it. So they didn't touch it. And so today, when you are in your area and you are asking us, we should come and open a police station, we will ask you to build a police station yourself. And it is when you build a police station, and all those areas where there are these disturbances, they never attack the stations that were built by the community themselves. And it is not good for this country. And so if you ask of closing down, yes. We'll close down because you have destroyed the station.
Mr. IGP, that cannot be the response because there are several places in this country where mobs have attacked police stations, but we never hear that the police stations have been closed down. For me, I don't think that should be the response. It's like the fact that your child, yes, pees on your lap doesn't mean you should cut your lap off. What can you do to help strengthen your engagement with the community there so that they will see that you people are one, you are there to protect them, and they are also there to discharge their mandates as citizens. But clearly, I don't think the answer should be the shutting down. I'm not happy with the way things went. The fact that they attacked the place, the fact that it was burnt down,
Madam, this is the answer I have to give, madam. There's nothing.
Can I finish, please? Can I finish? The fact that you even some of your men were hurt.
Meanwhile, Director General of the Ghana Prisons Service, Patience Bafoboni, disclosed that the 10 million cedis approved by the President to improve feeding for inmates in the last quarter of the year is yet to be released. Although government raised the daily feeding allocation from 1 cedi 80 pesos to 5 cedis, the funds are still locked up, leaving prison authorities struggling to meet basic nutritional needs.
And so we are feeding beyond 10 cedis. And it is through ingenuity. With the approval from the President, I think now, even as we speak, our budget for 2026 is capturing the 5 cedis. What we need now is the amount to be released for this last quarter. And efforts are being made to get the money into our accounts, and then a formal communication to that effect. As a directorate, we find this very serious because once the feeding regime is wrong, it has a rippling effect on health and every other thing.
The committee will conclude sitting on the 1st of October 2025.
Away from that, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has announced a substantial increase in the government allocation for the book and research allowance, moving it from 408 million Ghana cedis to 610 million Ghana cedis for the 2025 fiscal year. The announcement follows mounting pressure from tertiary education unions, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAG, and the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, the CETAG, who have threatened a nationwide strike over delays in the allowance. Speaking at the opening of the 22nd UTAG Biennial Congress held in Ibri yesterday, the Education Minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to meeting its obligations.
I'm happy to note that 408 million last year. This year, government is committing 610 million to honor your book and research allowance. And that is in process. No, I think the warrant have been issued. The minister today is busy with IMF. On Friday, I should be able to tell you, but we will honor book and research allowance.
Moving on, MP for Wa East, Dr. Godfred Seidu Jasol, says the Community Protection and Fire Service Assistant modules by the Youth Employment Agency are meant to create jobs, not for political gain. Speaking at the induction of 62 recruits in Bulenge, he urged them to remain non-partisan and professional. Joy News' Rafiq Salam reports.
The Community Protection and the Fire Service Assistance Programs rolled out by the Youth Employment Agency aims to provide decent employment opportunities for young people while strengthening community policing and to enhance safety and emergency response capabilities across the country. Speaking at the induction ceremony of 37 community policing and 25 fire service assistants, Member of Parliament for Wa East, Dr. Godfred Seidu Jasol, admonished the inductees to continue same discipline mentality exhibited during their training which will enable them to roll out in future employments.
The training program, I'm told, was very rigorous, it was intense, and yet you survived. And so I want to encourage you to continue with the disciplined mentality that you exhibited at training. Continue with it and make sure that when the next line of recruitment come to give you an opportunity to phase out, you will phase out with your chest out, that you served as CPAs or fire service assistants with distinction.
Dr. Professor Jason noted that the models rolled out by the government are not intended to make political gains or woo global voters into their fold, but it's about creating employment for a sea of youth in the country. He therefore urged the recruits to eschew all forms of partisan politics in the discharge of their duties.
For us, in this government, we are not interested in NDC, NPP. We are interested in serving our communities. We are interested in all youth. And so I do know some of you that are not necessarily NDC people. I do know a lot of you whose photos I still have when you wore other political party t-shirts during the campaign. But today you are in uniform. Please, don't go to do partisan politics in the execution of your duties. Go and serve Mother Ghana. Go and serve with discipline. Go and serve with distinction.
The West Legislature further urged the police and fire service commands in the district to initiate further training, pledging the commitment of his outfit to support them. District Chief Executive for Wise, Adamu Saibu, further admonished the recruits to be of good behavior, warning that they will not countenance any different behavior in the service.
Don't worry us with these calls, these text messages. After you've been recruited, then you go and become a problem to the command. We will not accept it. You can easily be replaced or you can easily be withdrawn. So go and put up the highest ethical standards in terms of performance. So that when we hear of you, we'll be proud and say that yes, we did the right recruitment.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Bulingi.
Now, the Deputy National Coordinator of the Feed Ghana Initiative at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Gordon Isubonteng, has revealed that schools demonstrating excellence in agriculture will be specially recognized at the 2025 Farmers' Day celebrations. He made this known during a visit to Putsinti I Ahmadiyya Senior High School. That's their farm, noting that the move is designed to motivate the youth to participate in agriculture and inspire institutions to expand their farming project as part of Ghana's broader food security agenda.
The drive to spark youth interest in agriculture is gaining grounds, with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture's Feed Ghana initiative now targeting schools and institutions to anchor the campaign. Receiving a delegation from the ministry at the Putsinti I Ahmadiyya Senior High School, the headmaster of the school, Mohammed Abdallah Kwansen, highlighted the school's progress in integrating agriculture into student activities.
Engagement of farming activities has been a long time because we have land around. Almost every year we go into farming. Some are done by the teachers alone, some too is for the whole school. So we engage students to help us go through the farming throughout the year, and the process have always been very good. But mostly we have relied on crop farming, and we don't go into the animal farming too much. A few of the teachers go into that, but generally it is a crop farming that we go into it most of the time.
Central Regional Minister Ekopeng Nijiamwa Ochri pledged his support for the initiative, noting some measures he is instituting.
We are encouraging schools for the land that we are going to create. If, for instance, you create an area in and around a PAM, then you can let UNICEF get into it, a PAM secondary school, and some few other secondary schools around to support. The schools will have their farm, and that will help us. Now, school feeding alone, the vegetable need that they have to, meet to make their food nutritious is a lot. And so if we are going to have a support farm in terms of even vegetable alone, that's okay. And I am going to lead that. I am going to have a demonstration farm where we are going to do vegetable to support school feeding in Central Region. That for me is an area we will come from in order to support the Feed Ghana, something that President Mahama is very much intentional about.
The Deputy National Coordinator of Feed Ghana at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Gordon Isubontin, leading the delegation, disclosed that schools and institutions demonstrating outstanding achievements in agriculture will be honored at the 2025 Farmers' Day celebrations.
Good thing is that this year, as part of the National Farmers' Day celebration, we are going to award institutions in a very special way. We are focusing on the educational institutions. So in every constituency, every school that is doing very well in farming will be awarded. We shall begin from primary school, JSS, and it goes up to the last level in the constituency. And the same thing will be done in the regional category. When you come to national, it will also be done. And the good news is that, the national award is planning something very lucrative for the schools.
From Portson, Abigail Lissell and Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Well, that's it for the news, but Kojo Brace is on standby with a business update. Stay tuned in.
Well, let's start our business update with what's happening on the currency market. Away from that, tax consultant Francis Timor Boy has raised concerns about the government's ability to meet its revenue target for the year, citing underperformance in key sectors such as customs. His comments come as the IMF team begins its fifth review of Ghana's economic program. And speaking to Joy Business, he noted that the government must find prudent ways of addressing the slack in the system.
My considered view is that the revenue targets, even though it's possible, we can achieve it. It could be challenging. Success is possible, and these are my reasons. At mid-year, we were told that revenue performance was about 44.5% of the annual targets, for which some of us thought that it was a positive sign. However, in the same mid-year budget, the Minister of Finance came to declare that customs, which is a major category of our revenue, was underperforming. We were down by close to 1.6 billion, which suggests that even though you will be doing well, if you have major tax handles like custom falling behind, it will draw down the total taxes. Another big issue we have is that historically we have what we call structural, taxing capacity, which we use the tax to GDP ratio to measure. Over the years and for a very long time, we are unable to collect much from our total, GDP that we produce. So there's a slack in the system. We can't change that overnight. Again, we have seen a number of, evasion and smuggling, especially when it comes to gold. So you see that the revenue that we are supposed to get from that angle, government is losing it. And so if you put all of these things together, even though GRA in 2024 achieved their target by 5.2% excess, I think that there's real danger that government may not meet its revenue target. And so I will lean to a very narrow pass or borderline if government should even achieve the target. It's going to be very tough, especially because some of the tax handles that we saw in the mid-year budget came somewhere July. And from July to date, you realize that their total contribution to the tax pool will be very limited because we didn't roll it out early enough. So I think that success is possible, but it's going to be very challenging.
Deputy Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Nee Thompson, says the commission will soon begin scrutinizing virtual asset dealings in Ghana. Speaking at the Digital Asset Summit Africa in Accra, Mr. Thompson explained that the move is aimed at protecting investors and ensuring market integrity as interest in digital assets grow.
Very soon, we're going to look at things like virtual asset dealing services, and it is an off-exchange virtual asset conversion and peer-to-peer transactions, and is going to be regulated by the Bank of Ghana. License will be issued for people to be able to participate in that space. There is a virtual asset exchanges and trading platforms, the crypto exchanges and what have you, which is a centralized trading platform for clearing and settlements, which will also be licensed by the SEC. We have the virtual asset wallet service providers, we have the virtual asset payment processors, the virtual asset issuance, the virtual asset tokenization, the virtual asset exchange traded funds, the virtual asset managers, virtual asset investment advisors, virtual asset brokerage, virtual asset advocacy, virtual asset mining and validating, virtual asset lending and borrowing services, virtual asset innovative virtual asset services. All these are various licensing regimes which are going to be implemented, and people will have the opportunity, market operators will have the opportunities. And so at every opportunity I talk to industry players, I want to encourage them to get themselves ready for the operationalization of this bill, so that as we encourage international participation in the local market, in the service provision, we also need to encourage domestic participation.
Well, let's wrap up the business update with what's happening on the commodities market. After that, we'll bring you sports. Do stay.